This is AnimeCons TV. We're your source for reports and discussion on AnimeCons and other fan conventions. I'm Patrick. Every month or so we like to take an episode and respond to your feedback and your questions, your comments. And so we'll kick this month off with email. We got an email from Jake who writes, "Greetings. I was recently thinking about guests who are invited to anime conventions around the US as well as other English-speaking countries and had assumed that pretty much anyone who was a relatively active member of the community was asked to attend at least once a year, especially considering there are over 250 conventions going around the year. Even the less high-demand voice actors, directors, producers, etc. would be flying somewhere. I was surprised when I saw so many longtime voice actors who had been in the industry for years, like Hilary Haag, had not been invited to a convention in over a decade. While on the other hand, there are some voice actors that feel like they're invited back every year. What is the process like to invite a guest to a convention? Thank you for your time, Jake." Well, I've actually worked in guest relations at conventions, and I've talked to people that do guest relations at other conventions, so I kind of know how this works. Excuse me. First, they have to decide, who they might want, and it might be a voice actor, might be a producer, director, artist, something, whatever they want. They'll seek out that person and try to find contact information for that person. Sometimes they use Facebook or other social media. They may use IMDb Pro, although that's not a guarantee to have their contact info, even though their sign-up page on IMDb Pro kind of leads you to believe that they have everybody's contact info. They don't. But yeah, so they have to get the contact info, and so maybe they're not able to get in touch with some of these actors in order to invite them. Other times, maybe the actors are just too busy. There's some actors that may go to a lot of conventions a year might not be voicing a major role, but if somebody is always doing a major role in a show, they're probably not as available as somebody who's booked constantly. So that's another factor, just their work schedule. And then there's also price. It used to be back 10, 20 years ago, you could get a voice actor and there would be no charge. You fly them out, pay for their expenses, but they would have no appearance fee. But that's changed in the last 10 years where just about everybody is asking for some sort of appearance fee. There's a few exceptions still, but yeah, they're looking at thousands of dollars and that's on top of the cost to fly them in for food and lodging. And so there's a number of factors why some guests may be at a lot of conventions and some may be at just a few. Another one is maybe they just don't like doing conventions. I know there's been a few voice actors who have had really bad experiences at conventions, so they just have sworn them off and they're not going to go back. Meanwhile, others just love conventions and they go at every opportunity they can get. And that's, I think, why some of them don't charge fees, because they love conventions, so they want to go to them. But yeah, there's so many different reasons that somebody may or may not go to a lot of conventions or go to a few conventions. And I don't know Hilary Haag, I don't know why she's only done a few, but that's some of the reasons it might be. So there we have it. We got another email from James. He writes, "Dear AnimeCons TV, hello to you and Happy New Year and Happy New Year of the Rooster. Sadly, I must inform you all, however, that this year I will not be able to attend Anime Boston due to finances. Fear not, for when I become more financially independent in the future, I will go back to AB. In the meantime, I will be going to Otakon this summer. I can't wait, and I hope that the change in location won't damage the experience that so many people praise this convention for. It will be 10 years since I started going to conventions, and I look forward to Otakon, even though I've never been to it. Wish I had started years earlier, but regardless, I love attending anime conventions. I liked Patrick's largest anime conventions from last year. I was surprised that he went to 11, but I still found it interesting. I also liked his con report on SAC Anime. All of those announcements will probably make you feel like you're at a military compound or something. I do look forward to all of your con reports for the year, though. Before I end, I would like to say that I like to collect program guides and badges from anime conventions. I like how Patrick talks about these guides, how they present information, if they're color-coded for this information, and I like that one program guide from a few years ago that Patrick mentioned unfolded in the center with the map to the convention. More conventions should do that, or have the map to the convention on the back. Well, as I close, I bid a farewell for now to you all at AnimeCons, and I think it's interesting that you guys are doing your feedback episodes at the beginning of the month instead of the end. This is your friend, ally, and 100% follower, and fellow otaku, James the Dark Kiba. Thank you, James. Now to respond to some of the stuff in here, the largest anime conventions, I listed 11 this year because 10 and 11 were so close, and they were all, I think that was all of the ones that I knew of above 20,000, so it would seem odd to exclude one just because they weren't in the largest 10. And 10's, I mean, we've got 10 fingers, but it's an arbitrary number, really. Why not 11? So I turned it up to 11. I listed 11 conventions. Next year, maybe I'll be back and listing 10. Maybe I'll list 12. We'll see. Who knows what's going to happen. Yeah, the announcements at SAC Anime, that really got on my nerves. They were really constant, and just, you know, I haven't seen any other convention do that many announcements. It's loud and annoying. Program guides and badges, I have collected one from just about every convention that's given me a program guide and a badge. And I've been trying to figure out what to do with all of them. The program guides take up a lot of space because I've been to over 150 conventions. And the badges also, I've got them in a couple shoe boxes, and they're all, the lineage are all tangled. And I've got an idea for an episode coming up on how to store that, and some ideas on how to handle that. So look for that episode coming up sometime in the next few months, probably. And the feedback at the beginning of the month, that's just from a behind the scenes sort of production thing. I was hoping that if we move feedback episodes to the beginning of the month, then any of the cosplay help and staff talk and any of the other topics we do could also be ready at the beginning of the month, so I can edit them all together and not have to do editing every single weekend because it really eats into my weekends. And so it's just a way to hopefully, you know, organize our work better. Obviously, con reports, we can't do those ahead of time, so those will still have to be done when we can, but yeah, just trying to organize our work better. On YouTube, Hits Muffin Whoosh, Hits Muffin Whoosh, he replied to, or she replied to our post-con depression episode from 2014 to say, when I went to my first con almost 10 years ago, I had post-con depression for almost a month. Although, ironically, I'd never had the con plague. Well, you're lucky to escape from that. And I did notice some comments on that episode where people seem to be mistaking post-con depression with con plague. They're two different things. One is you're sad that the convention's over. You're like, oh, what do I do now? The other one is you're actually sick. You know, you're coughing and sneezing and can't go to work. So two different things. So please don't confuse those. Also on YouTube, Ravelin Ritter, this person replied to our Shiva's Cosplay Help episode from 2014 on organizing everything to say, I think this is the best organizing cosplay video I've ever seen. Well, you're in luck because just a few weeks ago, Elizabeth did an episode on organizing cosplay. So now you've got a couple episodes, so check that one out too. And Hits Muffin Whoosh, Nightmare Moonlight MSP replied to Svetlana's Exhibiting an Artist Alley episode from 2014 to say, I love all her stuff, senpai! And someone who didn't reply to an episode from 2014 is Shannon Morse, who replied to our Best of 2016 episode to say, first. Okay. And we got a reply to the largest anime conventions of 2016 episode from Shiggity Shig, who said, awesome list. Just to get this out of the way, I've posted to these kinds of videos in the past as Gasper Heller. I decided to switch my display name or whatever back to Shiggity Shig for reasons. LOL. Anyways, In regard to Anime Boston 2016, I'm local to the Boston area. I live 6 miles west. I truly hated the lines I had to endure when leaving the con for food, etc. The stupid security BS almost made me miss a photo shoot I was excited to attend. Thankfully, I got there just after it started. But I still think the security ad of metal detectors is stupid. From what I've heard, they're being inconsistent with what kinds of metal prop weapons could come in and out of the buildings. I'm glad to hear that AB and the Massachusetts Convention Center Authority are working on stuff to make it easier on us for 2017. Oh, and I've been going to AB since 2009. It was my first anime convention ever. It legit blew my mind. Haha. I plan on having boatloads of fun at AB 2017. Patrick D, are you going to be there? I'd love to shake your hand. You've left AB in great hands when you left for your job in California there. Actually, I'm still on staff at AB, and so, yeah, I'll be there. I'll be in the game show room pretty much all weekend, so, except during the cosplay game shows. Anyway, he continues. In regards to Otakon, it was my second ever convention back in summer 2009, and it re-blew my mind after I attended AB for the first time that same year. There hasn't been an Otakon that I've not enjoyed, even if the programming didn't interest me 100%. I've had fun with my friends, hotel roommates, and this past year was no different, with only a small bit of drama that I won't go into here. I do remember in 2015 the stupid riots caused a decline in attendance, and the con center felt bigger due to there only being like 25,000 people enjoying the space, versus the previous year's 33,900 or so people. It was like a flashback to 2009 or so when I had first started attending. Those riots caused so much confusion, panic, and unnecessary fear, of which allegedly caused the attendance decrease. But in 2016, as Patrick reports in this video, it went back to normal. I'm also curious to see what it's going to be like in 2017, since it'll be at a new venue with all the stops pulled, and it should be exponentially. Lastly, on Otakon, I'm sad that they're leaving Baltimore. I'd grown to like the Inner Harbor district where Otakon had taken place from 1999 to 2016. I'll have fond memories of our invasion of the city for 3 days of fun. I also never forget the fire drill of 2010. The Otakon attendance decrease in 2015, I actually talked about that in the largest convention report for 2015. And it's not because of the riots. Because there was a convention the week after that. Just 1 week after. It was a My Little Pony convention, BronyCon. And their attendance went up. So Otakon, which took place, I think it was like a month after that, their attendance went down. It's not because of the riots. It's because of Otakon. They had some issues. And so attributing that attendance decrease to the riots is incorrect. Maybe it played some part, but it was certainly not entirely responsible for that massive decrease, as the attendance for BronyCon shows. Let's see. Shiggity Shig continues. And finally, in regards to Anime Central, I've been going only since 2012 because I've friends out near Chicago, and it was somewhat, lack of a better word, surreal experience. I've never been to a con where downtown wasn't right there. For those of you reading this, Anime Central takes place in Rosemont, Illinois, which is about 30 to 40 minutes west of Chicago. The convention center and hotels are on a busy road, so there's a butt-ton of traffic, and there's some restaurants, etc. within walking distance, as well as a commuter train subway that takes you to downtown Chicago itself. But it's not like Otakon or AB or other such cons that have everything within arm's reach. That's the best way I can describe it. I hope that makes sense. In 2015, I was super delighted to see ASIN expand into its convention center more. Years prior to 2015, the con mainly had events in the Hyatt Regency O'Hare Hotel, and the only dealers hall and artist alley resided in the con center itself. From 2015 on, though, panels and concerts and whatnot started to expand into the con center, and that made it feel like a matured con to me, given I was used to that at AB and Otakon. Okay, I think I've rambled on enough. I know you guys are going to read at least some of this for your 2016 feedback episode, and I'm sorry for novelizing each con I've been to, but I had fun running it. Well, thanks for writing in, and it's great to hear your comments, and I'm glad to have a chance to respond to some of them. And finally, there were some predictions left in our comments for the predictions for 2017 episode. Trey Dorn says, prediction for 2017, Wizard World survives the year, but barely, likely to be sold or collapse in 2016. BL Soldier 00 says, Holiday Matsuri and Colossal Con East will be two of the next big talk of the community party conventions of 2017. And Odeapple predicts Anime USA's attendance takes a big hit. NekoCon will get another big Lolita brand as a guest. And so we'll see how those predictions go in the coming year. I think that Wizard one is right on. And now we have a voicemail. So we'll play this.
Hey guys, it's Movie Film. And you know what? This voicemail, it's not for anyone that's on the podcast. So take a powder, take a break. Just seeing the viewers are going to talk for a second. So don't pay attention. Don't listen. Okay, guys, viewers. While we're not paying attention, I just wanted to let you know this. If you call the voicemail enough times, they'll let you be on an episode. Now, I know that sounds crazy, but let's review. I basically stocked Sketch. At some point, I think Stockholm kicked in, and they let me be on a couple episodes. So you all need to call, please, because I have some stuff to do. And yeah, so everyone call. Okay, guys, it's your show again. Don't worry about the message. It was just me and some close personal new friends talking like we do on other people's voicemail. Have a great day.
Okay. All right, whatever. Now let's take a look at the conventions that are coming up through April Fool's Day 2017 as found on AnimeCons.com. Coming up on AnimeCons TV, next week I report from LumaCon in Petaluma, California. It's a great convention and you should really make sure you watch that report. Also, there's going to be no episode on February 20th as we take the first of our 4 weeks off for 2017. That's President's Day weekend. I'm actually going to Gallifrey 1 that weekend, and so I'm going to have a Doctor Who con-filled report the following Monday. And Doug is going to be back on March 6th with our next feedback episode as we move them to the beginning of the month. So get your feedback in, write to us before March 6th, or before, actually it'll come out on the 6th, so it's going to be a few days earlier. But yeah, get your feedback in as early as you can, and Doug will respond to it. You can leave us a voicemail at 762-ADEQUATE, that's 762-233-7828. You can also text us at that number. You can send us messages, photos, pictures of cosplay you're working on. Make sure you tell us who you are, because we'll just see the number, and we want to know who to say who it is. We're not going to show your number, but tell us. And you can also email us at podcast@AnimeCons.tv, AnimeCons.tv. So email us and send us stuff. And do you have an Amazon Echo or Echo Dot? Did you get one from Santa? You can now use it to get a list of conventions that are coming up in the next week. Go to the Alexa app, look under Skills, and find fancons.com or animecons.com. And then all you have to do is activate that skill, tell your Alexa or your Echo Dot, whatever, say, Echo, what's new? Or Alexa, what's new? You can even say, computer, what's new? And it'll tell you what conventions are coming up in the next week. It's just part of the flash briefing, so that's pretty cool. And you can also find a link to the skill in our show notes, so click on that and enable it on your Amazon Echo today. And make sure you subscribe. You can find us at itunes.animecons.tv. Search for AnimeCons TV on YouTube, or search for AnimeCons TV on iTunes. Search for AnimeCons TV anywhere. You'll find us. And you can also watch on our site at animecons.tv. There's also a subscribe button over on the side. So do that and you'll not miss any episodes through whatever you're watching podcasts or video shows through. And you can find us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. We don't post to Instagram very often because it's video and they do photos and we can't post the whole episode, but yeah, we're there. But anyway, we'll see you next time. I'll be back next week with a report for LumaCon.
Of course he has got the good mic.
Much better. Now if I have to put up a lower third, it's
I don't know what you mean.
Man, see you all next week.
I'll be wearing the same shirt.